Call this meeting to order on Monday, December the 12th at 6:02 p.m. Councilman Lay, would you do the privilege of the invitation?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Lord, we appreciate this time to get together to do the business of the Cherokee people, and we hope we do it in the way you would want us to. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
This time we have a special event of the swearing in of our newly elected tribal council member for District 2, Frankie Hargis, by Justice Dowdy. Justice Dowdy, are you ready to please come forward, Ms. Hargis?
Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, and state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of tribal council member of the Cherokee Nation,
Tribal Council member of the Cherokee Nation,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation
the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America.
I swear or affirm further
I swear or affirm further
that I will do everything within my power
that I will do everything within my power
to promote the culture, heritage, and traditions
to protect the culture, heritage, and traditions
of the Cherokee Nation.
of the Cherokee Nation.
Congratulations.
Ms. Britton, roll call.
Now it's official.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Meredith Rayleigh.
Here.
Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin.
Honey.
Frankie Hargis.
Here.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Anna Gloria Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener.
Ahandi.
Dick Blake.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton.
Nick.
David Walkingstick.
Here.
Eric Allen.
Honey.
We do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. We have a special presentation this evening. It's called the Golden Paddle Award. And Mr. Elkin, Tom Elkin, are you here? Mr. Elkin, you want to introduce Ms. Hawk and tell about the Golden Paddle Award?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Dr. Delia Hawk with the Illinois River Water Management Association is going to provide or present the Cherokee Nation with a Golden Paddle Award, and I'll let her do a little bit more about that.
It's an honor to be here this evening, and we wanted to present the 2011 Golden Paddle Award in Government in the Illinois River Watershed to the Cherokee Nation and the environmental programs. And I want to thank Tom Elkins and his staff, Wayne Isaacs and Sarah Hill and Pat Gwynn, and the work that has been done in the Illinois River Watershed. And our partnership was formed in 2005 to work in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and the Cherokee Nation in agriculture, business, conservation, construction, government, and the education fields to improve the Illinois River watershed. And we're just pleased to make this selection. Was made by our membership committee, and they wanted to make this award to the Cherokee Nation for the 2011 Golden Paddle Award in Government.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Baker, I know you've never met a Mike you didn't like, so you want to say a few words?
Well, I mean, it is such an honor and a privilege to get this prestigious award. You know, the Illinois and the Barren Fork are the jewels of northeastern Oklahoma. And these folks have worked so hard to protect and preserve, and our folks have been helping, and I pledge that we'll help even more. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next order of business is approval of the November 14, 2011 regular session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes as written? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Madam
Yes, Ms. Count
Speaker,
Watts?
thank you. I'd like to ask to amend the agenda to add an item number 11, which is the grant application presented in resources today concerning the W.D. Mayo site on the Arkansas riverbed. And I'd put that in the form of a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on amending the agenda? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That is item 11.
Thank you.
Yes. The next order of business is State of the Nation, Principal Chief Bill John Baker.
It is an honor and a privilege to address this body, and it's so good to see a full house of Cherokee citizens in our council chambers. We have been awfully busy between Thanksgiving dinners and now Christmas dinners. We have eaten extremely well here at the Cherokee Nation. As we wind this very eventful year down, it brings us to mind of the blessings of Christmas and Thanksgiving, and the angel tree has been going on for several weeks now. Over 1,600 children have been served or are being served. We are still needing some supplies for the preteens and the teens, and although we stopped taking the contributions today, at Cherokee First, we're going to continue through this week, taking underwear and socks and those kinds of items that are so preciously and dearly needed by kids here around the Cherokee Nation. If you've already given, I thank you for it. If you haven't, I ask you to step forward and try and share a little wealth with our Cherokee children. This is a new year and new opportunities, and we have with us tonight the Mayor of Collinsville, Stan Solly. Is that right? Salih, sorry. And then we have Manager Pam Polk from Collinsville. And they have joined with Healthy Nations, and they have made a law and have taken their park smoke-free to make the north end of Tulsa County just a little healthier, and I'd like to give them a big round of applause for that. Normally, I would not ever bring up that rumors that are running rampant in the Cherokee Nations. But one just keeps coming back to my office that says that I'm going to fire everybody after the first of the year. And And so we can have a little merrier Christmas and a little happier New Year, and people can feel a little more comfortable. As long as you show up for work and you do your job, everybody's safe. You know, it is a happy time of year. However, with the new beginning and the new years, there's also some sadness that comes. And, you know, we've had 3 people in our administration that have lost close family in the last week, 10 days. And we have Cherokees that each and every one of you know, all over the 14 counties and around the world, that are not going to be with us this year. So if we could, take a moment to think about all of them and their families. I thank each and every one of you, and I want everybody to have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and God bless each and every one of you, and God bless the Cherokee Nation. Thank you. And Joe Crittenden will be here to introduce our veteran, our warriors, our veterans at this time.
I was told earlier on that we were going to have 4 brothers honored, and I think tonight we have 2 of them here. So, with that, the first one is Jimmy Van Bacon. Is Jimmy here with us tonight? Yes. All right, sir. Just sit where you are, and we'll get you up here just in a minute. I want to read something about Jimmy. Jim was born in Claremore, Oklahoma in 1949 and was raised in Rogers County by his parents Ruth and Miles Dink Bacon. Is that right? Okay. He completed high school in 1968 at Chelsea, Oklahoma, and attended United Electronic Institute in Dallas from 1968 to 71. He enlisted in the Army in 1971 and served 1 overseas tour as a microwave communication technician in Korea. When he returned from duty, Jim attended OSU Okmulgee and graduated with an associate's degree in industrial, electronic, and electrical maintenance. He worked in the oil fields in Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma, as well as the Peabody coal mines in northeast Oklahoma as a master electrician. In 1982, Jim started working for Baker Hughes Incorporated in Claremore and made a career there. Jim's international field service travels have taken him into the Middle East, West Africa, Russia, South America, and all over the United States. After the international travels, Jim has worked in the electrical controls engineering departments, engineering support, and now is working as a career development coordinator of electrical submergible pumping systems for the field service with Baker Hughes. Jim is proud to be a veteran and a Cherokee citizen. Jim has told many stories of his heritage, culture, and the outlook of life his parents taught him, his 4 sisters and 1 brother. Jim is married to Glenda, a beautiful wife, mother, and a wonderful school teacher. They have made their home in the country just outside of Claremore, and he hopes to retire in the near future. So let's honor Jimmy Van Bacon this evening. Stand up. If I can get up. Jim, you and I come from about the same time zone or era, and so when I get in, it is a little difficult to get in sometimes. Congratulations. Here's your Cherokee Warrior Award and this medal of patriotism. If I can do this without injuring you, I'll do it. Congratulations.
Your brother's gonna have a shot.
Is he talking to you too? Yeah. Thank you for your service. Appreciate your service. The next veteran is Robert Bacon. He joined the Air Force on February the 2nd, 1967 at the age of 19. He completed his basic training at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, and AIT at Suffolk County Air Force Base in Long Island, New York. Rob was stationed with the Air Defense Command in Long Island before his first tour of duty in Southeast Asia. In 1967 and 68, Rob served with the 377th Air Police Squadron in Saigon, Vietnam. After completing his tour of duty, he was stationed at the Francis E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming. His chief responsibilities were guarding the Minutemen nuclear missiles as part of the U.S. strategic defense. On January the 15th, 1971, Rob was honorably discharged as a staff sergeant, having earned the following honors: the Airman's Commendation for Valor Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Small Arms Expert Marksmanship Ribbon, Vietnam Service Medal, Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Air Force Good Conduct Medal. And let's honor Robert Bacon this evening. All right. Here's your Cherokee Warrior Award. I want to personally thank you, sir, for your service. I was a Navy guy myself, and we were all in about the same time. And I'm glad we're home. You too. We need to remember those in harm's way this evening, because during the holidays, lots of them out there doing their duty. Appreciate what you've done. Thank you, sir. Would you like to? I was told you will do the talking. That's wrong.
Jim, if you'll come on up, they want a picture again with everybody for the
The
newspaper.
Chelsea reporter asked for a picture, so Eliza wanted us to.
Stand sideways, you look thinner.
Steve? Bless you all.
Let me get out of your way here, sir.
With that, it concludes the State of the Nation, other than my wife and my mother are both here tonight, and if they'd please stand.
Love those short reports, Chief Baker. Okay, next order of business is action of unfinished business. There being none pending, we move on down to committee reports, and the first report is David Sutherland, the Housing Authority. Yeah.
David Stewart said that he had a big audience here to listen to him, so I'll make my report brief this evening. The next Housing Authority Board meeting is the 20th, a week from tomorrow. It'll be at noon in the Eileen Hogner Conference Room over at the Housing Authority Building. We've been monitoring the movement of the housing funding bill as it made its way through the Congress. The funding for the 2012 Indian Housing Block Grant has been signed by the President, so that's good news. The better news is that the funding level is the same as the 2011 block grant level, which is approximately $650 million. The language proposed by the House, I think I've reported this maybe at last month's meeting, that would have implemented a 3-year time frame on spending the allocation, did not make it into the approved funding bill. The other language that would have prevented or prohibited a tribe from getting new funds if it had over $20 million in the pipeline, it didn't make it into the bill either. That's good news. Those two proposals were an attempt by smaller tribes to gain access to funding of the larger tribes. Although the bill has been signed, we don't think that's the end of it. You know, it'll come up again next year, so we'll be monitoring that. We also need to do a better job of using as much of our annual allocation during the fiscal year as we can, so we don't have a large pipeline. Compared to other tribes, we do a real good job of timely spending, but we should set the mark. You know, we should do that. Do want to recognize some community services employees who worked on the float for the Stillwell Christmas Parade. They won first place. Real proud of those folks. So when they watch this, good job. With that, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and be safe. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Questions or comments for Mr. Sutherland? Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Mr. Stewart, David Stewart with Cherokee Nation Business.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I already planned to keep mine short, Dave, so I don't know. Reporting on September results, which is our year end. When we look back at the year, it was really a fantastic year from a financial standpoint. Our bottom line almost reached $100 million with adjustment for our insurance proceeds on the collapse of Casino 3 at Hard Rock. Our credit line remains at zero. Our new companies are profitable as we diversify into other industries. Our budget for 2012 shows about 10% to 15% of our bottom line attributable to non-gaming revenues. So I think we're making progress there. Our current projects, Ramona, Fort Gibson, and the new tower at Hard Rock are on scheduled to open next fall. And with regard to our employees bought almost 600 gifts for the angel tree, so they're very active in that process. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about September results.
Questions, comments for Mr. Stewart? Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. There being no business pending, we move on to new business. Passed out of Community Services is a resolution authorizing a grant application to HUD for an ICDBG grant. Ms. Kelm-Watts?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This grant is of course, ICDBG, and it includes public hearing requirements, which you should have seen notices in several of your newspapers. But it's $1 million for 4 projects, which first one being re-roofing Head Start centers in Jay, Cherokee, Lowry, Shady Grove, Nowata, and Kenwood, and including a playground repair at Bellefonte. Second, the purchase of the Southsaw Indian Store for a micro-enterprise project. 3, a green retrofit of 4 community buildings. And 4, a handicap retro refit of homes in Sequoia County. So that will be a match of $200,000 to the $1 million grant, and I make a motion to approve.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2, passed out a Rules Committee. We have several nominations, and the first one is Brent Taylor as a board member of Cherokee Nation Business, and I know Mr. Taylor is here. Could I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
Madam Speaker, may we have him come forward for another question?
Sure. Mr. Taylor, would you come forward, please? He's a good Mays County resident.
We still have to ask him hard questions, right?
Thank you for being here this evening, Mr. Taylor.
You're most welcome. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Mr. Taylor, I appreciate your willingness because we've had a little bit of dialogue since the committee meeting, but I'd like to ask again the question on the United Kituah Band and other tribal nations within our territory that if in your position or role as Cherokee Nation Business's board member, would you defend our sovereign boundaries against foreign tribal nations or other tribal nations?
Sure,
And
definitely.
particularly the UKB. I wanted to give you a chance to clarify
Yes, no,
that for the
that's no
record.
problem. And I do appreciate you making that more clear to me, but definitely, because sovereignty is something that's very important, and I agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I appreciate it.
Any other questions for Mr. Taylor? All in favor of this nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Did you want to?
Actually, I would like to add an amendment to the resolution that just passed, that his appointment does not become effective, and that until it's subject to the final top secret facility clearance level being granted to the Cherokee Nation businesses and Cherokee Nation Technology Services. And this is to protect some government contracts that we have that are contingent upon our getting the final facility clearance level.
Point of order.
Yes.
So if it's already passed, we have to bring it back off the table, but we're still in the same meeting, so we can.
Yes.
What's the proper?
Technically, and we could probably do this all in one motion, that since it did pass the resolution, a person who voted in favor, which all of you do, can ask for a motion to reconsider. Reconsider passage, add that amendment, repass it.
Okay. And I do ask for reconsideration.
Second.
Moved and second. Now, discussion. Everyone clear as what the amendment is? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, so now we have reconsidered it. Now restate the motion to the,
Okay, the motion is that his appointment is subject to the final top secret facility clearance level being granted to Cherokee Nation businesses and Cherokee Nation Technology Services. And I make that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved in second. Now, discussion. Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Baker,
Sorry about
this last minute.
that. Sorry about that.
Mr. Taylor, you were clear on that, weren't you? It's what we were doing?
Yes, in fact, I've already been to the police station and got my fingerprint.
All right. And I'm assuming, Mr. Baker, you're going to make that amendment on all of these
Yes.
nominations?
To the Cherokee Nation Business Board.
Okay. Item 3 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Bob Berry as a member of the Cherokee Nation Business Board. Is Mr. Berry here?
Motion to confirm.
Motion to confirm. Do I have a second? Mr. Hoskins, second. Any discussion? Yes. Okay. Mr. Walking said must be added as a sponsor.
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
I'd like to make the same motion to this resolution, that it's subject to the top secret facility clearance level being granted to the Cherokee Nation businesses and Cherokee Nation Technology Service.
Accept it as a friendly amendment.
I accept.
All in favor of this resolution as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Rex Earl Starr as a board member of Cherokee Nation Businesses. Ms. Gloria Jordan?
Yes. This resolution confirming the nomination of Rex Earl Starr of Stillwell as a board member of Cherokee Nation Businesses LLC, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
And accept the friendly amendment offered
Yes.
by Mr. Baker.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Yes, Ms. Count-Watts?
Yes, I had some questions for Mr. Starr, if he would come forward.
Go ahead, Ms. Count-Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Starr. I just wanted to clarify, I know that we asked I asked lots of questions during committee, and so did several others. I don't know that, there will be a polygraph involved with the clearance and a number of other things, and I don't know that they would ask you these questions, but again, I've heard information to the contrary concerning your past involvement with United Kituah Band and everything else. So I wanted to make sure to ask you again, are there any conflict of interest that you foresee concerning your role in the Cherokee Nation Businesses Board, in our struggles to defend our sovereign boundaries, not only as a tribe, but through our businesses and the involvement the businesses have with that? So do you have any relationship with the United Kituah Band? And if so, what is that, and either today or in the past?
Okay, first of all, let me address the sovereignty deal. I don't think there's anything that's much more important than the sovereignty issue, and I stand tall and stand very strong as far as that part goes. I think my comment last time as far as the Kituwa band was concerned is I think I told you that the extent of my involvement with them had to do with eating their hamburgers down at the casino there. And they've always been pretty good hamburgers. But as far as any legal type dealings, I've never had any. As far as I know, I've not had a single one with the Kituwas.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Starr. I appreciate your time
Thank you.
this evening. I appreciate you being here physically for such an important role, too.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, and let me take it one step further. Happy New Year to everyone, too. I want to get in on these dinners that the chief mentioned a while ago. Did he say something about a Christmas dinner? Am I invited?
All in favor of this nomination signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Roll call. Yes, as you agree with confirm the nomination.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Donna Gloria Jordan,
Yes.
Lee Keener,
No.
Dick Lay,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
David Walkingstick,
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts,
No.
Bill England,
No.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
No.
Jody Fishinghawk,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
12 yes and 4 no.
12 yes, 4 no. The nomination is confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Starr. Okay, item 5 confirms the nomination of Tommy Sue Bradshaw. Ms. Gloria Jordan, do you want to take that one?
Yes, again, this is a resolution confirming the nomination of Tommy Sue Bradshaw Wright as a board member of Cherokee Nation Businesses LLC, and I would put that in the form of a motion. And I believe she is here tonight.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Baker.
No, same friendly amendment, please.
You accept it?
Yes, I accept the amendment.
Mr. Walkingstick?
Yes. I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
And he wants to be added as a sponsor. Ms. Wright, or where are you?
She's to the left, next to Ms. Kelly.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Wright? Yeah. Ms. Count Watts, please come forward. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. I had a similar question in committee, but there's been people from your area that have contacted me that are just insistent, so I want to ask it again, just to make sure maybe you had an opportunity to visit with your family. We obviously have land into trust issues here specifically in the area that your business has a lot of interest in. So I wanted to make sure that the answer to the question was still the same, or after you'd had a chance to visit with your family. Do you have any land development or sales or interest in selling anything to the United Kituwa Band or any other tribal nation within our jurisdiction?
No, we do not.
And you're anyone in the first or second degree of consanguinity, which would be your immediate husband, children?
No, we do not.
Okay, very good.
He's here,
Thank
so-
you. I mean, these are critical roles,
Yes,
so it
yes.
would be remiss for me not to
Yes,
ask these
absolutely.
things. Okay, well, I appreciate your time, and thank you for, again, physically being here this evening.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Just one comment. I might add, I believe she's going to be the first woman appointed to this board, I think.
No, so,
No. Second.
third,
Mary Ellen.
Mary, and also Joaquin.
Oh, yeah, one thing.
Well, that was back when it was bingo though, I think.
C&E.
Well, this is C&P. She'd be the first woman to
She is
C&P
technically
board.
to Cherokee Nation Businesses, the first board, but not to our businesses board. She would be the third Cherokee woman.
Right.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Marlene Wilson Stites served on the CMB board with Councilor Thornton when he served on it. She's from Sequoia County.
Very good support. Thank you.
All in favor of this nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
One opposition. Did you get that, Kelly? Okay. Item 6 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Mike Watkins. Ms. Chuck, do you want to give Tanya a break?
Certainly. This week it's my pleasure to move for the approval of this nomination.
Second.
Moved in second with,
Madam Speaker,
yes.
I ask for the same friendly amendment.
And I accept.
I do too.
Thank you.
Mr. Watkins is here. If you have any questions, anyone?
Discussion?
Pardon?
Say discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add as a sponsor.
Oh, okay. Mr. Watkins wants to be added as a sponsor. Any further discussion? All in favor of this nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Roll call. Yes, as you're in favor of the nomination.
Steve Blake,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
David Walkenstick,
Yes.
Kara Callan Watts,
Yes.
Buell Anglin,
No.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
No.
Jody Fishinghawk,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Marcus,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Tina Glory Jordan,
Yes.
Lee Keener.
No.
Yes and 3 no.
13 yes, 3 no. The nomination is confirmed.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins, for being here. Okay, item 7 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Lacey Horn as treasurer. Mr. Thornton, she's from your area. You want to take that one?
Thank you very much. Before I nominate this young lady, I want you to realize that she is from my area. She's from my hometown. I think that she knows that she's got a very good treasurer to follow her, that she's following. And I think she can do the job. I think she's very intelligent. Everyone can see that she's very good looking. She's from Sequoia County. But I happen to have been, my family happened to have been friends with her family on her father's side. And that goes back to the 1800s. And I knew her grandfather and her grandmother, and I knew her grandmother on one of the other sides. I knew her great-grandmother, enjoyed her very much as an elder. And you have to realize at that time growing up, I was just a boy. And my grandmother and a lot of the other ladies around town would gather in the evenings and get out under the shade trees and gossip. But there was one thing about all those ladies. They stayed there till the gossiping was over because each one of them was afraid to leave. because that's who they was going to talk about. But back to Lacey, I've known her since she was a young lady. I know her mother fairly well. I don't really know her husband real well, but I do know him. And I highly recommend this young lady for this job. And not only because she's from my hometown, but because she's very, very qualified for this job. And I think she will make us a great treasurer. And I think you're going to have to kind of stick with her for a while because it's going to take some time. This is something you can't walk into and be a treasurer and know everything that's going on. We've got 540-something budgets over this nation. And I think that she will get a hold of things. I think she'll take things in hand. And I look to see her here at 9, 10 o'clock at night, but I won't be here. So with this, I'd like to recommend her for this position. Thank you. Nominate.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Ma'am, I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
Mr. Lay wants to be added as a sponsor.
Be added as a sponsor as well.
So does Mr. Walking Stick. All in favor of this nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Roll call. Yes, you're in favor of the nomination.
Jody Fishing-Hawk,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley,
No.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Hannah Ford Jordan,
Yes.
Lee Keener,
No.
Dick Blake,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
David Walking Stick,
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts,
Yes.
Bill England,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
No.
Julia Coates.
No.
12 yes and 4 no.
12 yes, 4 no. The nomination is confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. Lacy. Number 8 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Shannon Buell. Ms. Fishing-Hawk, you want to take that one?
Yes. I move for Shannon Buell's approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Is Mr. Buell here this evening? There he is.
I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
Mr. Walker said wants to be added. Shannon, would you like to say a few words? I'd love for you to. It's a pretty big role, isn't it?
Yes, it is, ma'am. First, let me say thank you to the chief. Chief, thank you very much for your support. And it will be an honor if I am appointed to this position. You're right, Ms. Fraley. It is an important position at the tribe, and I take this commitment very seriously. So, thank you very much for at least even considering me for the job.
Any questions for Mr. Buell? All in favor of this nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to introduce Lacey Horn. She didn't get to stand up, and she might want to say a few words.
Sorry about that, Lacy.
She can introduce her guests here for us. I'm in District 3, so if you're wondering why I'm talking, I'm helping David and Janelle.
Yes, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Councilor Thornton, for that glowing review. I'm truly honored and humbled by this, and thank you to the chief for recognizing that I have such a fire and a spirit, and I want to serve our people. So, thank you. I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Item 9 is, this legislation provides for the tribal council and principal chief to be the entity that represents the ownership interests of our corporations. Mr. Thornton, did you want to bring that forward?
Yes, thank you very much. I've been trying to get this act passed, or this type of act passed, for the last 8 years. I think it has a lot to do with our nation and this council as being the council representative part of the profit sharing of the Cherokee Nation businesses. And I think that it will give us standing to do what we need to do if we can deter corruption in our nation. And I'm proud to bring this forward. And the purpose of this enactment is to designate the principal chief and the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council as the entities that shall represent the Cherokee Nation's ownership interests of business and corporations on wholly or majority held by the Cherokee Nation. I want to make a motion to move this forward and to pass it, but I want to reiterate something in it. And I thought about this today while we were going through subcommittee with the impeachment laws and legislation, which is going to take some time to get through. But I think that this will help with our business. It'll help from not having frizzable lawsuits. And I would like to enter it in section 5, A and B, for the process of this act. Any business, corporation, or entity wholly owned by the Cherokee Nation, or which the Cherokee Nation owns a majority interest, the entity which shall represent the shareholders and vote any and all shares of the stock or interest shall be the principal chief in the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council. And I want to enter right there and move an amendment to have this purpose in language. And it will, and the sentence I want to put in there is, it will take 2/3 majority of the council to take any action pursuant to this section. And the tribal council and the principal chief shall adopt procedures to effectuate the provisions of this section.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Mr. Thornton, you want this by acclamation?
Yes, please.
Oh, Frankie, I'm sorry.
I'd
Excuse
like to
me.
be added as a sponsor to this.
Okay, Ms. Hargis wants to be added as a sponsor. All in favor of this act signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, passing out of executive and finance, we have an amendment to the 2012 budget for Mod 3. Mr. Baker.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. This budget mod 3 takes into adjustments for carryover for grants. It reduces our overall grants by $500,000 due to the carryover from last year. In addition, we have $785,000 added to the budget, which includes $300,000 for the Cherokee Day Training Program. We have $17,000 from the motor fuel tax. We have Environmental Programs Administration of $223,000. Self-governance of $110,000. The United States Housing Preservation from the FHA of $45,000. And vocational rehab service of $87,000. And then passed out of committee today was $200,000 for the LIHEAP program. And I make a motion for its approval.
Second.
By acclamation.
Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the budget mod as amended signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
It was already
By
stated.
acclamation. Okay, item 11, added as an amendment by Ms. Callan Watts, passed out of resources, a resolution authorizing a grant application to the Department of Interior on an economic development project. Mr. Thornton, you want to take that one on that hydroelectric project?
Okay.
The under resource.
There should be a handout in front of you too with the amended sponsors, David.
I think I'm about to get there. This is something else that makes us councilmen very proud, because this is a legislation that's going to increase the funding of the Cherokee Nation for the next 100 years. And it's legislation that's going to really help Sequoia County, because we're in desperate need down there of jobs. This is going to bring about several jobs over the next few years. This is a legislation that is bringing generated power to our area. And it's going to be generated by the power of the river. And I'm very proud to bring this forward, but what I would like to do is have a few comments about it. And this is going to bring a generated power plant to W.D. Mayo, owned and operated by the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. And it's in the stages of being authorized by the Congress. And I think everything is in line to start this project here within the next few months or year. This project will be alive and well for 100 years. And it will generate power of which this nation will sell the power and profit from that selling. But important to my area is that it's going to produce 150 to 200 direct jobs in a low-income area, and it's probably the lowest income area in the state of Oklahoma, or has been in the last few months. It also is going to bring about around 10 highly trained workers and continuous tax revenue and income to the local area. But just the construction alone and is going to bring anywhere around local economic benefits of the construction to $532 million. And I'm really proud of this for our council, and I'm proud our council has brought this forward. I know that one councilman has worked on this before we even got in on it, and that's Ms. Watts, Cherokee Watts. And I know that I can't believe that this is happening. I'm just ready for it. But it's going to bring anywhere from 10 to 15 million a year into the Cherokee Nation after it's paid for. It's going to take $140 million to build this. And I probably need to shut up and let somebody else talk a while, because I know that they're involved. But I thank you, Ms. Watts, and I want to make a motion to pass this it's not a resolution.
Second motion.
Moved in second. Mr. Garvin, did you have a comment?
Yes, I'm excited about this project. As long as that water runs downhill, we're all right. And you know it's not going to turn around, so it's going to be a project that we'll enjoy and reap the benefits for the next 100 years. We got to have one little tune-up, they said, after 46 years to work on the turbine, refurbish it. But this is a done deal. That river runs every day. You can hear it outside my window. I can hear that river. And also, when it gets a little low, they can let water out of the dams and continue that project all the year. And today we learned someone already wants to buy the electricity, and maybe more than one. So we may have a good auction to auction off that power. And this is going to all come to end, hopefully, 2015. So we got a little more waiting to do, but this is phase 5. We've been going through phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, but now this is going to be phase 5. We're trying to get between 2 and 3 million to finish up the planning, and I hope everybody will vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Baker?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I'd like to recognize Carol White, who has worked diligently on this project, and if she would please stand.
You want to stand, Ms. Wyatt? Ms. Fulbright?
Yes, thank you. We're all really thrilled about all this project that's It's going to come to Sequoia County, not just for us, but for the whole Cherokee Nation. It's a vision that we've thought about for a long time, and we do have very high employment in our area, and I'm excited about the 150 to 200 jobs that it will provide in the next 2 to 3 years building the plant. And then we're going to have some highly skilled engineers down there that are going to be paid big bucks that will all generate back into the community. And I just think this is something that we have needed for a long, long time. I think it was thought of even back in 1970s, but it wasn't deemed to be profitable back at that time because the generation of the power was so low you couldn't find anybody to sell it to. But things have changed, and I think this is going to be a great moneymaker for us, and I urge everybody to vote for it and support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fulbright. Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm excited about this, and I want to thank Carol and her team of folks at Cherokee Nation Businesses. This, I think, began with Ross Swimmer. I can't remember if it was when he was chief or when he was doing economic development for the tribe, but it's taken many years for this to come to fruition. Now that it's actually becoming a realization, I think it's a fundamental shift in how the Cherokee Nation looks at natural resources and the ability for us to generate our own power sources as a sovereign nation, but also green power, or greener power, I should say, depending on who you're talking to and how you look at it. But as someone who's half Sequoia County, because my dad was born in Fort Coffee and graduated as South Saw Black Diamond, it gives me a lot of hope for that economy, to have those immediate jobs, but also that we're able to generate power for the rest of the Cherokee Nation. So I'm excited that everybody's on board. And while we have so many of our Cherokee Nation business folks that are going to be new to the process, that means we'll need your support, because this will take money not from the government, but from Cherokee Nation businesses to actually make it happen. So I'm lobbying right now for you to support this going forward and spread the word to the folks that aren't here. So thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Ross Swimmer.
Thank you, Ms. Cameron. Any other discussion?
I'd like to be added as a sponsor on this.
Ms. Hargis would like to be added as a sponsor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now moving on down to announcements. Yes. Ms.
Madam Speaker,
Oates.
I just wanted to extend my gratitude to Chief Baker for reinstating the practice of remembering those who have passed. And I was wondering last month if we were going to continue to do that, and I'm glad that we are. Tonight, we didn't name people by name, but I know that for my constituents who are watching this on webcasts, it means a great deal to their communities and to their loved ones when people are named by name. It's comfort and uplift in a time of grieving. And so tonight, I want to acknowledge and to remember two people from the Cherokee Southwest Township, which is our satellite organization in Albuquerque. It's our oldest organization, having been around for about 12 years at this time, and a particularly tight-knit community. And I know that everybody is missing very much Dennis Cloyd and Jim Harlan, who have both passed very unexpectedly in the last month. So thank you for allowing me to mention their names.
Thank you, Ms. Coates.
Thank you. And along the same line, we lost Miss Faye Johnson, who was a valued elder in the Claremore area. Then we also lost Roger Gord, and Sammy and Pam Rusco lost their mother. And I have an announcement too for an upcoming meeting. But since we're on this track, it'll just take us. They're asking for other folks. So
Mr. Anglin?
Yes, and I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize a Cherokee citizen from Skytook, Hazel Chapman, that is related to our former councilman, Bill Johnson, and I know he's listening in Houston tonight, so I'd like to recognize that his relative passed away I think at the age of 95.
Ms. Fulbright?
Yes, from Sequoia County, we lost Geraldine Welch Gamir. She was 90 years old. She was very proud of her Cherokee heritage and such a spirited person. We're all going to miss her, and especially her family. Thank
Mr. Snell?
Yes, I would like to recognize some deaths in our family, in our neighborhood. Miss Frances Cochran, Mr. Raymond Barnhart, Mr. J.D. Black Fox, Mr. Dan Canoe. It's all passed away in the last 3 weeks. So thank you very much.
Any other recognitions? I'd like to remember James Feeling. He's a full-blood Cherokee from Salina. He passed this week, so I'd like you to also remember his family in your prayers. Miss Fishing Hawk?
Yes, Gussie Bunch from Adair County. She's a full-blood Cherokee speaker and writer, and she passed away.
What was her name?
Gussie Bunch.
Any others?
I forgot one.
Yes,
Billy Jack Fields from Marble City.
thank you. Ms. Kelmwalt?
Thank you. On January 14th, prior to the next council meetings, I will be hosting a scholarship town hall or presentation on Saturday, January 14th, from 9 to noon at the Claremore Fair Board Building, if there's folks that are interested in finding out more about how to find and apply for scholarships for college. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.